But even with good news out of Washington, hey, we have to deliver a dose of the bad. And the bad news, well, it's back again. The White House has put out its plan to reform and reorganize the executive branch. Guess what? Air traffic control privatization continues to be the vampire idea that will not stay in its coffin. They're calling it a, quote, mission adjustment for the Department of Transportation, and they sort of hide it with, of all things, the St. Lawrence Seaway, but there it is. FAA's air traffic control services could be spun off from the government so that it could better assess fees on the users. But AOPA President Mark Baker thinks they're trying to fix what isn't broken and ignoring what really needs to be done to solve airline delays.
So let's go work on the things that we all agree can be fixed, more concrete potentially for the Northeast Corridor. Let's work on things like scheduling, where those things arrive and cause us real congestion. Those are things that we can solve together through all the industry coming together and talking about it, not taking it over and giving it to one special interest group. We've seen what happens in the other ATCs in the 60 countries around the rest of the world. It hasn't been good for general aviation and business aviation. None of them have the robustness of our system.
Congress has continued to reject air traffic control privatization. In a hearing this week, Representative Steve Russell, a former Army officer, said that pulling ATC out of the FAA could pose a security threat to the United States.
By divorcing ATC functions from the government, and thus Department of Defense, each shared interest would be subjected to a yet unknown established process of coordination, which could leave our nation vulnerable to cybersecurity and physical attack. It would also create a potential multi-billion-dollar unfunded liability for Department of Defense to update its own systems in coordination with these new processes.
And despite what Secretary of Transportation Elaine Chao and some of the airline leaders are telling the public, the U.S. air traffic control system is the most advanced in the world with a satellite-based navigation and surveillance system. If only the airlines were equipped to use it. So it will not go away.
No, and I was literally at a next-gen advisory meeting yesterday where we were talking about how do we operate in a mixed equipage environment, because not everybody's equipped, and it's going to be a long time before the airlines are fully equipped to take advantage of ADS-B, for example.
Right. So lots of challenges out there. We don't need to mix things up further with changing the air traffic system and charging user fees.
Exactly.